Little bougie fan that people. Anyway, you guys, we are back with another video. Today we are going to cover, man, when you go on live, when going live goes wrong and people pull up on you. And then secondly, what's going on with the P Diddy trial? We are going to take a look at what the lead attorney thinks. Stay tuned. Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Please make sure you guys on your way in that you hit that thumbs up button for me. Also, please share this video. And if you are not already subscribed to my channel, please go out and hit that subscribe button. And also make sure that your notification bell is on so you are notified every single time I drop a new video or I go live. All right, y'all, so I decided to do me a little lunch brunch little video, but anyway, while I had some time, y'all, look, I decided to go blonde too. Y'all like my little blonde? They say blondes have more fun. Anyway, I'm trolling. But listen, you guys, this first video that we are about to go over, you guys, is a perfect example why you should never go back and forth with somebody on live. Why? Because most of the time they're just barking. They're just barking. That's pretty much it. You are going back and forth with somebody who has created an image of this tough person. They'll call you every name in the book. They can be whatever. So you're basically arguing with a made up character that I will refuse to argue with. And people say, oh, Sean, you don't say anything. You make this person think this. Listen, I'm not doing that. As a copper caramel sister, listen, we suffer from high blood pressure, strokes, heart attacks, and I ain't about to go back and forth with nobody that I cannot see in person. That is pointless. That is a waste of your energy and your time when you could just be out here making money. But anyway, take a look at this girl where she was barking and barking and barking until the dogs came up to fight.
I ain't never have to back you. You Dre, that you trying to say is Leia's daddy? You him right after my sister. You dirty ass.
She said you the baby at 13, 14. Jameer is 12, and you got
Come
the
on
30.
now, you're a weak.
No,
You're a weak.
the math is just
you have
math
bad kids, bad delinquents, bad.
You got fucked.
Oh yeah, come on.
Oh, y'all never pulled up to my house? Watch out. Get here now. Bye.
Did she really leave her entire phone outside? Okay, y'all, I'm back. I'm gonna be good. All right, y'all, let's get into it. So next, you guys, you have been asking about the P Diddy trial. What's going on with that? Well, listen, I wanted to get a better perspective from the lead attorney. I have been waiting on his reaction and response to the jury trial. So right now, you guys, we are doing jury selection. Excuse me, not jury trial, jury selection. So right now, P Diddy is in the middle of jury selection. And of course, you guys know that there's a lot that's getting ready to come out. Y'all know Cassie is taking the stand. This is not good. So listen, I want to go over exactly what the lead attorney and what his perspective is on this P Diddy trial. And then I'll give my opinion. How about that?
The jury trial for Sean Puffy Combs has started and things are not looking good.
Has pleaded not guilty to multiple charges, including sex trafficking, and has denied all civil allegations against him. Now, sources say Combs' ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, will be a central witness during the trial. Now, sources also tell CNN other witnesses expected to testify include his former sexual partners, a business associate, and a male sex worker.
Now, as background, we know that Diddy is facing some very serious federal charges, including racketeering, transporting individuals for prostitution, sex trafficking, and also running a criminal enterprise. The stakes could not be higher. He's facing anywhere from 15 years to life in prison. And even though Diddy was one of the richest and most powerful people in the country, his destiny now lies in the hands of strangers.
So this is...
Now, if you think about what he just said, this man with millions and millions of dollars have been able to basically be a control freak. And that's how I see Diddy, P Diddy, as basically a power person. You know, you have so much money. You notice he's never married a woman. You know what I'm saying? And that tells a lot about a man. You know, this man, what, is in 50s, 60s, or something like that? And, you know, he's made a lot of power moves, always been rich, always been able to decide his own fate. To now be in the midst of having total strangers decide if he will spend the rest of his life in jail, 15 years in jail, 20 years in jail, to, you know, if he will walk out that courtroom and be able to be with his family. He has a new baby at home. So basically, yes, the way he put it is now his fate is in the middle of, or in the hands of strangers. And we have no idea what that is. And we have to sit and wait on the evidence. And I'm pretty sure all the evidence has not been put on the table. So
this is where the gamesmanship comes in, Stephen. I'll never forget something that when I was a young prosecutor, a veteran defense lawyer who'd been practicing 40, 50 years said to me something like, jury selection isn't just a big deal, it's the whole ballgame. I mean, these are the people who decide the case. Now, let's think about this from the defense side. Like you said, you're Sean Combs' lawyer. What are you worried about here? To me, it's pretty obvious. You want to avoid anyone who A, knows about this case, mostly everyone does, and B, just has their mind made up, has already come to some sort of judgment. There will be many, many questions asked of the jurors, the potential jurors.
Y'all had to go get me some grapes. So, what he just said, the main thing about this jury selection, y'all, is Diddy and the prosecution, Diddy's side and the prosecution be able to come to an agreement about jury selection. They are going to have to pick jurors who do not already come in with a biased opinion. How can you find somebody who has not already formed their opinion based on the media coverage? Media basically already convicts or unconvicts before you even enter the courtroom. They have already placed their opinion based on Diddy's past behavior. Cassie's video has come out. They've read the depositions. They've read the indictment. So basically, a lot of people have already formed their opinion. But a lot of people don't even understand that a lot of the evidence have not been put out to the media yet. A lot of it has not. That's on the defense side and the prosecution side. So there may be things that come out that we'd be like, whoa, wait a minute. They didn't say that. Same thing with Lil Durk's case. You see, in Lil Durk's indictment, they had to pull back some of the things that they accused him of, which we're not going to get into that. I'll get into that later. To the point that they only have this much to even go forward with that with, which I don't even know why the feds are doing that. But anyway, so regardless of that, you have to find a juror that is going to come in there completely unbiased, does not have anything against Diddy. It's not going in there and saying the prosecutions is assholes, blah, blah, blah. They have to be completely unbiased. And you're talking about going in there with mothers and fathers who's going to view Cassie's video again, feel sorry for her, have compassion for her. But at the same time, you got to look at her participation in Diddy's situation. I know everybody don't want to hear it, but you got to look at everything as a whole. And that's how the defense is going to present it. Anyway.
Have you heard about this case? Right. Have you formed any opinions? Could you still consider the evidence fairly. But look, the fact of the matter is this case has gotten an enormous amount of publicity. Sean Combs, since the indictment came down, has been the subject of all sorts of criticism, of jokes in the media. And I would be looking out for people who already had their minds made up against him and could not come in there and judge the case fairly and impartially. But the catch, though, Stephen, is a lot of people will say, oh, yeah, I could be fair and impartial. I could put aside everything I've heard. But this is where your gut instinct comes in as a lawyer. I tried a case against John Gotti Jr., right? Everyone had heard of the guy.
Okay.
A lot of jurors said, oh, I could be fair. But then it gets into that gut, like, do I believe him? Am I sensing something weird that I don't think this person could be impartial? So defense is looking for people who've already convicted the guy.
That attorney is absolutely right. The prosecution and the defense are now at the stage of trial that's called voir dire. They're picking the jury. Decades ago, a lot of old country lawyers would just tell the judge, give me the first 12 and put them in the box. But that is not how juries are selected today. People spend a lot of money nowadays on consultants, on investigators, trying to figure out who would be the best fit for our case. Who would be the best juries for our side? The whole name of the game is to eliminate the jurors that you don't want on your case and to keep the ones that you feel might be beneficial. Some potential jurors have already been dismissed. There was a woman who was a survivor of an assault, and she said she didn't think she could be fair to Puffy considering her past. Another juror said that Puffy had so much money that he could just buy his way out of any situation. He was released from the jury pool. A third,
once again, they're already releasing people, but how many people are going to be that honest and say, hey, listen, I believe that he does this, I believe he does that, especially people who wants to participate in a high profile case and be a jury on there and possibly benefit the same way they did the Young Thug trial. Y'all know jurors did whole lives and interviews, got paid for certain interviews. I'm just saying, how can you have an impartial juror? They've already had to let some people go.
juror was released when he said that he worked for HBO, who has put together a documentary on Puffy's legal situation. It is critical that Puffy picks the correct jurors if he wants to win his case. Now, it's interesting that Puffy himself wants to go to trial.
Him turning down a plea deal for a lesser charge, is that something to be expected? Should that be considered a surprise? What do you make of that?
You know, it's an interesting little bit of last-minute gamesmanship here. It's not that uncommon for prosecutors to make an offer on the eve of trial. Now, the big question is, what were they offering, right? It's one thing if they were offering him 12 years. It's another thing if they were offering him 3 years or something like that. The fact that he said no, you know, I guess it depends again on what the offer is, but he's dug in. Look, he appears to believe he's got a shot at winning this trial. Otherwise, he would have taken that plea, because the downside here, if he loses this trial, Stephen, he's going to get 15 years minimum. And as you said before, up to life. So Sean Combs and his lawyer must have sat down and said, look, there's a chance to get out of this for less, but they're comfortable rolling the dice. Those are very high consequence dice to roll, though.
That's
To be honest with you guys, nobody knows what that plea deal was. And Puff Daddy seemed to think that he has a very good chance of, I don't know, walking away. I don't know, but we will never know the details of what that plea agreement was. Like I said, it's not unusual for prosecutors to come and offer a deal on the table for him. What that deal was, I don't know, but I have a distinct feeling that that deal consisted of a lot of years. So maybe minimum, I think maybe minimum 15 years without it going up to the max, because right now it's 15 to life for him. So 15 years is a deal. So you guys comment down below. Do you think that he should have took that deal, or do you think he should continue to roll the dice and see what he can get if he believes he's innocent?
exactly right. Puffy has turned down the plea deal that the prosecution offered him. Now, we don't know the terms of the deal, and maybe if Puffy was 23, 25 years old, he would have taken it. But at Puffy's age now, any type of 15-year deal, 20-year deal, I mean, that could represent life for him. So Puffy is going to put his fate in the hands of the jury. Now, they have brought in about 100 potential jurors. They're going to whittle that down to about 45. Then they're going to whittle it down again to about 12 who are going to be the jurors who listen to the case and decide his fate. They're also going to select about 6 alternate jurors just in case something happens to one of the first 12. If you were Puffy's attorney, what type of juror would you want for this case? Having practiced over 20 years, I will tell you what I'm looking for, and it sounds bad, but this is how juries are selected. First of all, I want a man. I don't want any women on this jury. Now, one or two are going to slip by, but I'm going to fight to try to keep women off this jury just based on the allegations alone. Second, I'm going to want somebody relatively younger, maybe in the 30s to 45, someone who can kind of either relate to Puffy or relate to the culture. And then third, and this is where it gets tricky, I want black people on this jury. Now, black people are not a monolith. All black people are not the same. But if you choose younger black men, you will have a higher probability that they can relate, they can maybe sympathize to the culture in which Puffy was living. The last thing that I want is a 75-year-old great-grandmother who's white, who's gonna hear the term freak off and clutch her pearls. Great-grandma's gonna have to sit through a lot of bad evidence, a lot of bad testimony, and I need someone who can listen to all that and not flip out on me.
But Cassie,
Ultimately, I agree with that. I agree with that. Because you want to get people that are going to be open to the lifestyle that he was living. Now, not everybody's going to agree, but again, you don't want an older person to be on that stand. Not a person with grandchildren, not a person who's literally going to feel sorry for Cassie. They're going to feel sorry for these victims. You have to understand his victims are taking the stand. People who have been involved in his situation that has taken a, it hurt my family type, especially the people who may be in the civil case against him. They're going to take that stand. So you want somebody who is open-minded, like, hey, listen, come on, you participated in it. Stop acting like a little wuss. You want something, and this is not my opinion, but you want somebody that has a more open mind than an older person. Not that I'm saying older people don't, but younger people tend to take more risk. Should I put it like that? Yeah.
Diddy's former girlfriend is choosing to testify under her own name. What is the significance of that, I guess, from a prosecutorial standpoint, but also just in general? What is the significance of that?
She's ready to have her day in court.
Yeah.
She's ready to let everybody know, not just Diddy, but to let the world know what happened to her. When you are uncloaking that veil and when you are actually presenting your true self in front of jurors, in front of the world, it means that you mean business. And that's great for the prosecution. When you have a victim, when you have a survivor that's decided, I'm actually going to come out here and I'm going to tell you my name, it's because I'm ready for whatever the defense is going to show.
Yes, that's right. Great grandma is going to have to listen to Cassie tell her story. She is the #1 victim, the #1 witness, the star witness, and she's ready to get on the stand and tell it all. Now, we all saw this footage. Puffy paid Cassie tens of millions of dollars for her not to get on the stand and testify in the civil trial. He wanted to keep her lips sealed forever. And now, after paying her all of that money, after reaching a settlement, she still gets the chance to tell her story about what happened to her, not only in this incident, but is what has happened to her over the last 10 years of their relationship. Things were horrible, apparently, and she is going to tell it all. Puffy is going to be in some serious, serious trouble. Of course, Puffy has a very good idea of what she's going to say, one of the reasons why he came out with this video.
It's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life. Sometimes you got to do that. I was up.
Yeah, you were.
I mean, I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable.
Now, to me, you guys, that video that he made after Cassie came out and said what she said in the lawsuit came out, to me, you guys, it was gaslighting. It was basically trying to rationalize your faults, trying to paint this image to the public, which we wouldn't expect him to do anything different, right? It was you or it's him trying to rationalize his faults, trying to get empathy from the media, trying to show that, hey, listen, I made a mistake. It was wrong. I shouldn't have did it. Please forgive me. I've learned my lesson. No, baby. Sometimes an apology does not fix everything.
I take full responsibility for my actions in that video.
And the judge has already said that they are allowing that video in his trial. So when he says he takes full responsibility, the jury's going to hear that. The jury's going to say, okay, well, let's give you some responsibility.
I'm disgusted. I I was disgusted then when I did it. I'm disgusted now.
No, that's basically like admitting fault. You took responsibility for it, but you're admitting fault and you're saying, hey, I know I did something. And you can't turn around and say, hey, I know it was a bad thing to do, but can you not punish me?
I went and I sought out professional help. Now to go into therapy.
Oh, here we
Go
go.
to rehab. Had to ask God for his mercy and
Yeah, I love when they put God in it.
grace. I'm so sorry.
We can see that that's a very bad video for Diddy. Now he has to try to find his way out of it. He has to say, listen, that was a fight and I did what I did, but that has nothing to do with racketeering. That has nothing to do with sex trafficking. That has nothing to do with transporting people for prostitution. Yes, I'm guilty of the fight, absolutely, but I'm not running any criminal enterprise. Puffy's gonna have to use every argument. He's gonna have to fight his way out of this. Now, in his fight, what Diddy has done is gone out and hired the great Brian Steele. Brian is an amazing criminal defense attorney, maybe the best that we have in the state of Georgia. Brian represented Young Thug down here in Atlanta and got Thug an amazing deal. He is one of our state's best. I've known of him back when he had black hair. In fact, he represented my best friend who was facing allegations of assaulting a police officer. The police
Awesome. I love me some Brian Steele, okay? He was one of my favorite attorneys in the Young Thug case because he took no shit. This man took no shit, and he knows the law like the back of his hand. You cannot put nothing over Brian Steele. I'm going to give him that. So that was a chess move to hire Brian Steele. And if you don't know how Brian Steele works, let me give you a little bit of an example.
They have the exact image of what we got from the jail in Fayette County. That is it. And if I get another false allegation and you do nothing, I'm shocked. I'm appalled at you. I sit here day after day with this false allegation, just machine. I gave the state everything. There's been no disconstruction. There's been no purposeful, I don't care. I don't care. I give over everything. I've done this for 33 years. Never in my life have I seen a trial. I've done 300 appeals in the state of Georgia alone. I've never read a case like this. Judge, I gave them everything I had. I waited. I was at my office till 8. After 8 last night, I waited for their investigator to come by. I handed him an exact copy of thumb drive. They had everything that we got from the Fayette County Jail. There's been no deconstruction. There's been no purposeful exclusion. This is not the first time. Okay. And I apologize that I'm getting tempered. But I've never been treated like this. You talk about professionalism every
department made up all types of allegations against my friend, and Brian Steele got the entire case dismissed. He is an amazing criminal defense attorney, and now he is working for Sean Diddy Combs. Further, Puffy has also hired Nicole Westmoreland. Nicole also represented a co-defendant of Young Thug in the Young Thug trial. She and Bruce Harvey worked together and got an amazing deal for their client, Nichols. They represented Nichols. You'll see Bruce Harvey in a second. Bruce Harvey is actually the Brian Steele of that generation. But Nicole Westmoreland, an amazing attorney. Puffy has just hired her, and I know she's going to do an amazing.
I'm sorry, y'all. I had to walk away from the table, but yo, did I just hear right? Westmoreland is on, he hired her. If you are not familiar with who Westmoreland is, she was one of the attorneys on the YSL case. She was the actual attorney that brought it to the attention that the prosecution had did something to warrant a mistrial. Okay. She was the attorney that did that. She's a short little, cute little lady or whatever. And she's really small, y'all. But anyway, to have her on that team is crazy. She's the reason why Young Thug, all of them even got plea deals or entertained plea deals. It was her. She was the trigger pointer. That's amazing. So, hey, another check mark. I'm impressed.
job. He is kind of raiding the Atlanta criminal defense bar. Now here's Bruce Harvey, who's an amazing criminal defense attorney, and you can see how small Nicole is in stature by comparing her size to Bruce's. Now this is interesting because Nicole is actually a survivor of sexual assault herself. We can see here it says that Nicole, who joined Diddy's team, was violated in 2001 when she was only 19 years old. She was working with a firm that specialized getting suspended driver's licenses established again. According to Nicole, the VP of a record label, Brian Williams, you know who that is, Birdman, and another man called Stone called her to a recording studio to make a pitch. On one of the nights, she attended the studio with 3 of her friends. There was a party going on in the studio. 2 of the men in attendance, and Alfred Cleveland, a friend of Ronald Williams, who was Brian's brother. Nicole said that while they were at the party, she wanted to use the restroom. Cleveland then offered to show her where it was, and instead of leaving her alone, he forced her inside the room and allegedly raped her. Now, unlike a lot of victims, Nicole went straight to the police. Cleveland was arrested and later pleaded guilty to the charges of rape and aggravated assault. I know for a fact Nicole is going to be an amazing addition to Diddy's team. She is a renowned criminal defense attorney here in the state of Georgia. Stay here for the latest updates as we cover this insane trial.
Savage! I'm a savage!
Jeez.
Oh! I'm a savage! Whatever I want, I'm going to get! Whatever I want, I have to get!
Guys, this trial is about to be completely epic, okay? I'm definitely going to follow this trial and keep up with it. Y'all know my schedule gets busy sometimes, but I am going to try my best to cover this trial at every angle. So right now, again, we're just at jury selection. I'm definitely going to keep up with the lead attorney because he covers it pretty good and he's not all, you know, too detailed with it. He does use a lot of legal terminology that people do not understand, and that I'm going to follow through and try to break down for people who don't. But definitely, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. I definitely try to, you guys, you know, make it as layman as possible, if you know what that means. Okay, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up button, like this video, and please share it. And I will see you guys on the next video. Don't forget, super chats are below. Don't forget about your girl. See you in the next video.